Everyone, welcome to Tech Down Over. I'm Briggs and I'm joined today by my good friend Jeff Blanchard. We haven't seen each other in weeks, so
I was
good
just
to see
going
you,
to
Jeff,
say,
and
yes,
good to see you healthy and looking good. We've got a great guest today again for his, third, fourth appearance. Darren Miles, who'll be here in a moment. Here we go. You know, Darren, you won't believe how hard it is to dry off after that intro. It's hard, but we do it.
Yeah.
How you doing, Darren?
I'm great, guys. How you doing? Thanks for having me on.
Oh, we'd love having you on. And I notice you've had some not quite career changes, but you're changing your focus a lot more to the real estate, which you've been always very good at, but also to video. You've been kind of gearing more and more towards video, which, like you said, some photographers really need to get into video more because it's no longer just one or the other. It tends to be both. How's that going for you?
Well, that's a great question. A lot has changed. In the last 6 to 8 months, I finally broke down and I bought a Sony A7R Mark III, which I wasn't going to buy, but a very good friend of mine said, here, why don't you borrow mine and just try it out. It's really a lot better than the Mark II. And I was like, I don't know if I want to get into another camera system, but I'll try it. I tried it, and I was very, very pleasantly surprised with the A7R Mark III. In fact, I've been using it to shoot most of my videos, and today, my A7 Mark III just arrived today. I've just finished charging it and updating the firmware like 20 minutes ago.
Now, have you played with it yet?
No, and tonight I'm actually going to be using it on this. I'll share with you the film when it's done. This home that I'm filming tonight is about $8.5 million. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
it's beautiful. And I'm going to be using both of those cameras. I really can't wait for it. It should be really, really great.
That should be cool. I've heard a lot of good about the A7 III, the A7 Mark III, and the A7 III. I guess that's what it's called.
Yeah.
The other one is the A7 Mark III or A7R Mark III.
A7R Mark III.
Yep. I had the A7R III. It was a great camera. We sold it because I didn't want to have the Sony line. We were kind of like back and forth, and so I got this one, which is the Canon EOS R. It's okay.
How do you like it?
It takes great pictures. Video is good, but it's got a big crop, and as long as you put EFS lenses for video, you're probably okay. But with the EF, you really lose a lot of real estate. And it takes great pictures, but the controls are funky. They're just not as good as they could be. Like going to white balance is a two-step process minimum. It's kind of a pain to change your white balance. And if you do a lot of video, you're changing white balance all the time. So it's one of those you kind of love-hate it sometimes. It's well built. It's a nice Canon camera. The lenses work fine. They're all fast. Everything works well. But I don't know. They could have done better for the first go-round, and I think they deliberately skimped. They have a pro version, they say, coming out this year, so maybe we'll get it. I'm not sure yet. Most of the stuff I'm shooting right now is with the Panasonics. Believe it or not, I'm shooting with the G9, the GH5S, and the GH5, and they take good pictures. Surprisingly enough, they're pretty damn good.
Yeah.
But what are you shooting with mostly now? Just the Sonys?
For video, it's almost exclusively Sony.
Yeah.
Although I do use a Canon C100 Mark II that I've had for a while.
That's right.
Still, I still love that thing. The audio coming out of that is pro grade. It's really, really, really
nice.
good.
Have you seen the new price on the Mark III, on the C100 now? The Mark II?
The original or the new one?
No, the new one.
The Mark II.
$3,000.
Yeah.
They've gone down that much, which is amazing. Yeah. And you can get a C200, which has the 4K, for I think about $5,000. It's gone down quite a bit. So
that's a lot because it came out at around $7,500.
I know. It's pretty cool. I mean, they're going down. They were always slightly overpriced, but they're beautiful cameras.
Yeah. No, the C100 Mark II, I just shot a commercial with it. These two attorneys against a plain white background. And it turned out great. The skin tones on Canon are still the best. Sony's still a little bit kind of funky and weird. Yeah. But the skin tones coming out of Canons are beautiful.
But Sony has gotten a lot better.
Yeah, no, I find with the Canon, no matter which camera you use, I like the Panasonic, I like the Sony, but when you come back to the Canon, it just seems to get it without too much alteration or anything. It just seems to be the best. But I do still like that the Sony, and I was looking at your video that you did of showing the tip of filming behind windows and that during the daytime. And that just did some gorgeous shots in that house when you did it at the dusk. It was just beautiful. You couldn't complain about the color on that anyway.
No, definitely not. I will say Sony gets color pretty good. It's not quite as great as Canon. The Canon's always renowned for their skin tones, and I basically agree with that. The Sony skin tones, they're okay. My Nikon experience has been the Nikon files to me are the most flexible, but they have the worst color straight out of camera.
That's interesting.
But it's also, I think, it's what people want. They all have their own tinge. It's like TVs and that. They all have a particular, like the Sony has that look. I like that look. And it's like the Panasonic, they have that, I don't know, that cooler look.
Well, they've gotten better.
Panasonic's
not so cool though anymore. They finally warmed up, like on the G9, even the GH5. They're warmer than they used to be.
I think that's why Sony does well, because I always think of Florida. I always think of CSI Miami when I see that coloring. It's sort of got that warmer color. So I think that's why I always, when I see Darren's films, I always think of Florida and that. So.
Cool.
Well, the skies in Florida are gorgeous. The cloud formations out of nowhere are just like, it's like Hawaii. You just go, wow, look at that. It's pretty.
There's a reason why I open every video with beautiful, sunny Southwest.
That's right. It's really pretty. It's really good. Really but you know, one thing about Sony that you probably appreciate, damn, their focus is good. It is, honestly, they're the best I've seen on focus. Nobody beats them, not even close.
Well, the IAF is particularly impressive, especially on the latest version of firmware. And it works really well with the with animals as well. I haven't tested it, but I've seen some videos, and you know, Manny Ortiz puts out videos all the time with Sony, and the IAF that he puts out for animals and for people, and it's impressive. The hit rate is much greater, although I like to use the wide AF on it. I've learned to migrate away from single point AF, and I've learned to, because the face detect is so good. And then you can do face priority, so you can actually tell it which face to have priority with. But if you don't do that, it gets a little confused as far as which face you want it to focus on. It focuses on somebody else. But overall, it does a really, really great job.
Have you tried the A9?
I haven't. In fact, I held it once. The same guy that let me borrow his A7R Mark III let me try out his A9 that he was renting. And I liked it. The AF was even faster and snappier. And it was really, really, really fast. I mean, really, really, really fast. Shutter was quick, everything.
I thought colors were actually better on the A7R III than the A9. It was just, I don't know why, but the pictures, maybe because it's got more pixels, but it just looked better on the A7R III than it did on the A9. So it's just,
I mean, I can't say I haven't used the A9, so I really couldn't be a good judge of that.
It was nice. We had one for a while, and then we bought like 3 Sonys and sold them all. 6 months later, it was like we loved them, but it was just sort of weird. For what we were doing, it didn't add. We did more video, and actually the Panasonics for video just worked better for us. And we use a lot of camcorders when we're doing corporate video, so that for us just works better because we're doing like all day shoots sometimes, and we're just rolling. Get a 256 gig card and go, and that works pretty well.
AF though. That GH5's AF is very, very, very unpredictable. You have to pretty much do manual focus with that camera.
Yeah, especially if there's a lot of things moving.
Right.
Though it has gotten better, and the GH5S is even better than the GH5 for video. It's got just a couple more features, though. I'm struggling with white balance on it, just because maybe I don't know the camera well enough. We haven't had it that long, but the white balance seems to just be temperature. And you just go back and forth. I was going, there's got to be another. I can't find it anywhere. I went looking on YouTube, nothing. So that's the only white balance I'm seeing. So I'm either insane or that's all they have, which is, I guess, okay. It works, but it's a little tricky because you're not seeing the differences as you go from one type of white balance to another. You're just changing temperatures across the bottom, 3200 to 55. That's a little odd.
I've got the GH5, and I don't use it that much, and I should, but I just haven't. The one thing I do like about it is that it can do 4K at 60.
Yeah.
but I've learned a lot of my night shots don't hold up all that well. Like the shadow areas get really pixelated and they just don't look all that great to me.
Yeah.
Whereas with the Sonys and with the C100 Mark II, the shadows are really clean.
Incredible.
They're really easy to clean up in post.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is nice. So how are you doing with the video? Are you enjoying that? I mean, you're a photographer by training and also a videographer. Which one do you enjoy more? Is it just different to you?
Well, in addition to that, Rick, I'm also a business person. And I think that right now, there's a big opportunity in video, specifically in real estate. It seems that the really high-end agents, the agents that are selling $1 million, $2 million, $5 million houses, their clients and their sellers are craving real estate videos that really showcase their homes. That one video that I put out there that I talked about, daytime or whatever, I'm not sure, one of those two. I think it might have been nighttime drone. I put out 2 really nice home videos lately. The homes are nice. The videos, I'm biased. I thought they were pretty good. But Sotheby's, one of the big firms here globally, actually reached out to me about that video and asked me to do more for some of their even higher end properties.
Nice.
So that piece is it's like the new black. That's like the best way I can refer to it. Real estate agents that are really differentiating themselves from their competitors are doing videos of these homes. I don't know how long it'll be like that. Eventually, much like digital photography, I think videos will become more and more of a norm. But right now, it's kind of like the new thing, and everybody wants to do it. And they're suddenly gaining traction. They've been around for a while, but they've recently hit that tipping point where more and more agents are diving in and doing videos or asking to do videos.
You know what? It's like you said, people have much more of a feel about video than the photos are nice, but the video keeps it going, and you get more of a feel of, hey, look where I'm at. I'm going from this room to that room. Wow, look at how when you walk in, the majestic nature of the room, and so it brings it to life, and
Totally.
it sells. I remember going about 2 years ago. I went to look at. Somebody told me about these homes, and they were in Scotts Valley, Arizona. So I typed in on YouTube Scotts Valley, Arizona homes. Oh my God. They're all like 5 to 10 million, which is a lot for Arizona.
Sure.
Oh my gosh, these homes were just, and they're all videos. It's just mind numbing. It was just, I don't want to live in Arizona. It's hot as hell, but it was gorgeous. They're built into mountains. They're built with the landscape behind, the way the sun hits them. The architects must go gaga with that stuff, but the videos were just so enthralling. And then you look at the price and go, oh, that's a lot of money, but beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
That paying for that video is nothing. It's like, oh, $1,000, $2,000, that's nothing. Their commissions are huge on a house like that.
Oh, I know, and they're probably making 1 or 2 million on some of these houses, and it's incredible. But God, they're beautiful. And I imagine where you are, again, some of the architecture must be down. You've shown some of it. The architecture is gorgeous. So that must be fun. Actually, do you have fun doing that?
With the videos?
Yeah.
Well, I love them. In fact, the agent I'm meeting up with tonight, it's Friday, and we're going to turn it into a party while we do the video, just because it's Friday night and we're working. So let's bring the scotch, or let's bring some wine.
That's
just
funny.
Do some video.
So how different is it for you when you go in to do a video versus, or do you also do photography as part of it?
I do both. In this particular case, I'm doing this particular client that I work with does a lot of high-end homes, and they like to do the full package. They want to do high-end pictures, night photography, night videography, drone footage, everything, the whole 9 yards. So when they go to market, there's no question that these guys know how to market a multi-million-dollar house.
Yeah, that's
and
nice.
I love it. The video piece it's new. It's the new toy in the room. It's fun to play with. It's like the new game on your video game console. It's just something that's cool to like pick up and play with.
So what do you normally, just for those who are more technical watching, what do you normally shoot with? I imagine you tend to use wider lenses when you do the real estate, so it gives it a sense of largeness and things like that. What kind of lenses are you using?
It's actually the same lens that I use for pictures. What I've done right now, ideally, if I could draw my perfect picture set for real estate video, I would have either the Sigma 14-24 adapting, because I don't think they make the Sony version of that. No. And I'd also like the Sigma 14mm f1.8. Right now, I'm utilizing a Nikon 14-24 adapted to a Sony, and I'm utilizing a Samyang 14mm 2.8, which is really good at like f4 and narrower.
Yeah.
And that's proven to be very effective. And the high ISO capabilities of the A7R Mark III, and I'm assuming the A7 Mark III, I'll find out tonight, are really, really good and really, really clean. And they do a great job at that blue hour when the sky turns blue.
Nice.
So,
yeah,
but it's basically the same lenses that I'm using for real estate photography. I'm using them for videography.
That's cool. Now, just to give you a plug, you're still doing your real estate training course, correct?
I am. Kent Miles Online is still out there. I need to update it. It's about 2 years old now. The information on how to shoot and the way to go about shooting and the way to go about getting clients, that part hasn't changed all that much. What has changed is some of the cameras and lenses and flashes that are available today. But the course itself, I would still say, is like 90+% relevant. And if you don't have any experience in shooting real estate, there would be a ton of benefit to that course. If you've been doing real estate photography for a while, you probably wouldn't get as much out of it. But as far as, if you're new to the business or new to real estate photography, I've worked with photographers for years and they've never shot real estate. Then I take them into a real estate shoot with me and they're stunned at like how little they knew about it. So
it's different.
If you've been a photographer in other genres, you'd probably get benefit out of it. And if you've never done real estate photography, you get benefit out of it. But if you have done real estate photography, you might be like, there isn't a ton here to learn.
Okay. So, yeah, it's really, real estate is all about perspective, angles, to make things look bigger, beautifuler, and capture the light. That's another important thing that a lot of people don't think about in real estate. If you're not capturing the light, you're missing part of that sale. And because the way these, especially the high-end properties are architected is, my gosh, they pay such attention to light. And the true. Way the sun hits, it's amazing. You look at that stuff and go, this is so cool. The whole architecture of light and windows and how everything comes in. And without burning you out, because if you have a place with big windows, you also have big heat. And yet they work around it. They know how to do it, or they refrigerate it correctly. It's pretty cool.
But it's also the way Darren takes it. I've found like you can have great shots and it looks really good, but the way Darren takes you through the house to give you the perspective of like going in the front door, but just not showing you rooms, but just leading you through so you can get a feel of how you would walk through a house. Because some of them, you just see pictures and they look very nice, but you don't get a feel for the place. But I found looking at Darren's ones that was taking me right through. Now, a question, Darren. On that, what you did one of the videos. Now, there's a shot where you pull back, and you do a shot, and you pull back, going out, and there's a flame. Was that shot forward? I just seem to think that the flame was going backwards, or is it?
I was hoping somebody would pick up on that. Yeah, that's exactly what I did.
I thought I'll just look. I thought, hang on, and I think that flame's sucking down.
Going like this. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he's taken the going in the front. He's coming back out. But that's the tricks you've got to do.
But it worked, and fire isn't like water, in that you really can't tell its direction when you, especially in slow motion. But like water, you'd clearly be able to tell. But fire, you don't notice it as much. But sometimes you do have to reverse shots to make them work. And sometimes you'll see a car going down the road in the wrong direction. You're like, well, that shot's not going to work. But there are other times when the flame is going down. I'm like, you kind of can't tell that's going down.
No.
We'll go with that anyway.
That's funny. Now, Darren, you've got, is it three boys?
2 boys.
2 boys.
Come on, man. Yeah, come on.
Do any of them like photography or video?
No, usually. Well, one of them actually has a YouTube channel.
Oh, really?
Yes. I don't know if I'm his inspiration. I don't think so. I think his inspiration is more along the lines of PewDiePie. He's a video gamer, and he's 11 years old, and he has 163 subscribers. He's very excited about that.
That's cool.
Yeah, he's actually really good. He doesn't stutter at all. He sounds like one of those guys who's been gaming for years. It's really impressive. And he's my son, so I'm trying hard to be like not the doting dad.
That's really I know. That's pretty good for 11 years old.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I'll plug his channel. It's Mighty Max, so check it out.
Mighty Max. That's cool. I'll take a look. That's pretty good. Yeah, I remember one time about, 10 years ago or something, I was just looking for anybody who had my name. I don't know why. I just said, let me see how many I can find of me. And there was like a 10-year-old boy who was like a junior firefighter. So I sent him a note, never got a response, and I thought, it's pretty weird for a guy that my age calling. Probably that's why he never answered. I go, that was really stupid.
Parents
But
probably cut that one right
oh
out.
I go, that was dumb. I would have done the same thing. So what are you talking to? That guy's probably a freak. But it was funny. I just got excited. I go, hey, I'm with the Sea Cadets. You're a firefighter. That's really cool. Trajectories. Well, it didn't. That was sort of stupid. But yeah, it was really naive on my part. Then I remember, right, internet bad. I shouldn't do that. But I was actually excited to see a kid, same name, and doing similar things to what I did when I was a kid, going, this is really cool. But yeah, didn't come off right. But it is fun watching kids at that age getting into the internet and actually doing things like that. I mean, we didn't have that growing up, so it's like didn't exist. So to me, it's cool.
Well,
I think it's just neat.
It's a sure sign that we're all getting older when we say things like, we didn't have that when we were kids.
No, we didn't.
No, that's right.
It happened all the time.
Yeah, and it's not that long ago, actually.
When you
Go
used
ahead,
to just have videotape. When you used to have videotape and you fast forward, record that, do that, then stick in a computer to do some titling if you had to, and fast forward through to that rewind to get the other one. And I don't know how I ever bothered and doing that. But then you look back, it was such fun.
Well, these kids today don't even know what a dial tone sounds like. Never mind utilizing.
That's so funny.
Tape.
Yeah.
It's crazy stuff. It's like a dial tone. What? Yeah, what are you talking about?
No,
Darren, what my wife went in with our daughter and two kind of like cousins. We call them cousins for her. And they got into a car. It was an old car that they had, just like a third car. It was a Toyota Corolla, but no electronic windows or electric windows. And the kids were like,
how do you open the window?
So they're pressing on the knob, trying to get it to open the window, and they couldn't figure out how to open a window. It was just hilarious watching that. And then eventually, my wife said, "You got to do this," and they're like, They couldn't figure it out. Because this is so weird. When was this built? Like in the prime ages, primordial age?
Through a commercial.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was absolutely hilarious. And watching that in real life, going, man, it's just. It's a different generation, totally. It's totally electronic. And they go, what is all this manual stuff? I don't get it.
Totally.
And it's just like a lot of people, I said a lot of people get into the habit, like around my age, and that when you want to record something or do, you say, I'm going to tape that. And somebody said the other day, the kid said, what, you keep saying you're going to tape that. What does that mean? They said, I'm going to tape it because I said, what's a tape? What do you tape? What do you mean? Because they don't know. It's all electronic these days. We're back with the video recorders and audio recorders. We're going to tape it, but what do you mean tape it? And like we still say video or tape.
Or we say film it, and we say film it.
Yeah, film it.
Film it.
Yeah.
Although there's still filmmakers, even though everything's digital.
That's true.
That's right.
That is true. Though there are some crazy filmmakers out there who love film. The crazy, and film is pretty cool, but I don't want to go back to it.
Still film photographers too.
There are.
Rick, just real quick, I'm looking at the clock. I've got about 2 minutes because I've got to get to the shoot tonight.
Okay, he's over the time.
Darren, what's happening next in your life that you want to? Any seminars? Anything you want people to come to?
And coming soon, I'm probably going to announce another seminar because I've gotten quite a few inquiries because I haven't done one in about a year and a half. I haven't had the time, which I guess is a good problem to have.
So
I've kind of been pushing people to the online version of what I do. I'm probably going to update Camp Miles over the summer, and I'll probably launch a seminar probably this fall or early in the spring of next year down here in Southwest Florida. And then, like I said, my channel is going to start migrating more and more towards hybrid shooting. Nothing new in the YouTube world, but new for me because I've been pretty much focused on photography with my clients, and the market demands have pushed me into video. And frankly, rather than fight it, I decided to just jump in head first, and it's working.
You know what? You're good at it, so why not?
Thanks. Thank you. I appreciate that. I really do. Thank you.
Well, hey, we appreciate you coming on today. I know you've got to go off and do some work tonight, so have at it, and we'll see you next time. Good luck with everything.
Jeff,
thanks for coming on again.
Jeff, I will get down to Australia one of these days, and I'll reach out when I do. So.
Oh, definitely. I'll pick you up from the airport as well.
Thank you.
I just did that from my brother.
I'll give you a discount too.
Great. So, Jeff,
Have a good one, Darren. Thanks. Jeff, you want to
take
stay
care.
Bye
on?
for now.
Take care.
Bye for
Bye-bye.
now, yeah.
Bye, Darren.
Bye.
Okay, that was Darren Miles, and we're still on. Let's switch a shot. There we go. So anyway, that was fun. Darren's always a great guy, and he's always doing something new and innovating. And I love his work. He really does nice work with what he's doing with the real estate, and even his photography. It takes him. Have you noticed, Jeff, when he does all his camera or lens mainly lens reviews? He's always putting about a 1 to 3 minute clip of the pictures and video. He does some great pictures and videos.
It always inspires me. Well, that's why I like watching his channel as well. Is I get a bit downhearted about different things, and I watch him doing some of the, and it gets me inspired again because you just seem to see not just showing you how to do it, but his enthusiasm really gets me as well. It just gets you going forward.
And he doesn't spend his time criticizing a camera or this or that. He just shows you what's good, what's not that good, and he leaves it at that.
It just makes me always think when you see what goes on YouTube, because when you see on Darren's all these videos where you do, just a normal shoot showing something, but when you put a lens thing, you see that's what people love is lens reviews.
Yep.
You get 50, 60,000 views on when you do lens reviews. When you just do something else, like even he gets these small ones at 8 to 10,000, and I thought, gee, I'd love to have low ones like that. But
I know.
said it's amazing what people like to watch, and you sort of see it's the 3 to 5 minute videos of those sort of things. And if you get too long, but like we're saying back with the houses as well, it's getting to be a bit like the auto industry. It says, what's the best thing to get you to buy a new car is to get you sit in it and drive it. And now with houses, what's the best way to get you go through and have something you can sit at home with a coffee and keep going through that house and imagining you're living in there. And
I know.
like you said, when you're paying that sort of money for it, and still photos are not good enough. And even these 360 ones, they're no good because you have to go through, do it yourself. You want somebody to take you through it and do that. But at least the 360s as well, you can say, what did they have in that corner? And you can have a look at it and say there's no
If you ever have a
spaces.
chance, go to that Scotts Valley, Arizona homes. Oh, it's like things out of James Bond movies. It's just wow. Secret rooms, and one house had an underground parking lot with an elevator that took your car up and down to the other. I was going, oh my God. And it had a bowling alley, a shooting range, all indoors. It was amazing.
I saw one of these houses that had that. It had the one that went up and down, that took the car up and down. Then the car went down. It was on like a turntable, and so you turned it round, you parked it, then you put the other car on, and turned it round, so you didn't have to reverse it, and it was just incredible. And I thought, just you think it was like the Thunderbirds. You thought that was a man, back in when the Thunderbirds are going. You thought, well, at least if all they need to have is a swimming pool that moved aside, and then
It's
you
amazing.
go under that.
It's actually like the Thunderbirds.
But I mean, the thing is, if some of the things like you were saying, those ones in houses in Florida, I'd want one. If I was paying all that money, I'd want one where the thing opened up and the house went underground and then shut over for all the hurricanes.
Oh, hurricane coming! Bring the
up.
house down. That's a great idea. Actually, I wonder if anybody does that.
But I would. But I'll tell you, if I had one of those sort of house, I'd have to insist there was 3 levels below ground that you could live. So if the top got blown away, you could still live there, build it back up, or then you were safe. But I'd have to, if I had all the money like that, you'd just go down there and have a bunker underneath. Because
you need a nuclear reactor just to make sure the house has power while you're underground in case of whatever. That'd be
well,
amazing.
as I said, the people who buy these houses usually, $50 to $100 million is nothing to them. It's a set, whereas that's like us spending, $50,000. They'll spend $50 million, and as I said,
it's a small difference. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's so many people out there that's doing that. You just think it's a little market, but I think it's still quite a big market.
It's a big market because it's a global. At that point, it's a global market.
But it's things like the space agency. When people say the money they spend on that but it's like all these expensive houses, all the technology that comes out of that, because if people didn't have these, nobody would develop all these things, and then they become available for us. When they do these up and down things, then eventually we get them in the normal houses and that. So,
Jeff, what kind of hardware are you looking to get this year?
Well, I've made a point. So if I'm not going to get any more hardware unless I start using the stuff I've got now anyway. So I'm going to get out more with the GH5, but it's getting colder and darker, and I like winter better than summer. It's always because you can get some nice miserable shots which look really nice, but I like dark and rainy shots, and like Darren was saying with that hour where the sun's just going down. Well, in the winter, cloudy, sometimes you get better lighting on that sometimes, so you haven't got the sun glaring on that. And plus with the GH5, it is the water sealed, so you don't have to worry about getting wet. But what I would love, like I said, if I had the use for it, would be that C200. Like you said,
that's a nice camera.
The Canon.
It's not even a camera; it's a film camera or a
film.
It's a movie camera. It doesn't take stills. It's really for filming, and it's actually they're very nice. I know people who use them, and they just love them. They're reliable. They don't have every feature. Actually, feature for feature. Did you see Hugh Brownstone's podcast this week? It was actually pretty good.
No,
he talked about after 2 years, what's his camera of choice? Take a guess.
GH5.
Yeah. He said after 2 years, nothing comes close to it. He goes, yes, it doesn't have the best focus, but who cares? It does everything well. And as a video camera, it beats cameras 10,000 to 20,000. This is for a $1,500 to $1,600 camera right now. That's amazing. And it just gets, and they said nobody's beat it. In 2 years, nobody has yet beat it. That's pretty incredible. For video, like you said, everybody has different needs, but if you're doing video, and if you want to take pictures, he goes, the pictures are just as good and just as printable as a full frame camera. He goes, I've got posters done with my GH5 pictures, which I can, the same posters I can do with a full frame something else. So what's the difference?
I find the GH5 does great stills as well, but it's just having one. The great thing I like with it, it's one camera that's small. It's not a big camera. You can take it and it'll do everything. You don't have to think, I have to have this camera for that. Oh, now I have to switch to that one.
This is about the same size as the GH5. This is the EOS R, about the same, maybe a tad bigger, but the GH5 is lighter, and the lenses are probably. This is about a typical GH5 lens. It's not that much smaller, but you can get really small lenses on the GH5, and when you get the bigger lenses on this, they're heavy. So you start having a much heavier camera, which isn't bad until you're carrying it all day. Then you go, it's kind of heavy. But the GH5 is awesome, and the G9 I like a lot too. And the GH5S is also very good. It takes shots that are really good, small megapixels, but man, they look great. And if you're doing it for the web, fine, they're fine. I haven't tried printing off that.
What I was wanting to do is try and take the GH5 into the city or something, probably, and do some nighttime shooting, see what it does
It's not bad
with this city lights. But I want to see how well that does it, because that's always makes a place look even really nice when it's nighttime with lights and that. So it's just getting the
if you ever get that Nocticron, you'll go gaga. 1.2 Nocticron, it's nice.
I think that's probably the one thing I wouldn't mind getting if I could do that. But as I said, I've got to get out there a bit more, because if you don't use it, it seems to be a bit of a waste if you're not. And I envy, I'm a bit envious of Darren sometimes that because he's got a business doing that, what he gets, and he loves doing it as well. And I thought, gee, wouldn't that be lovely to have a business where you get up and that's the stuff where you have to buy. And when you buy it, it's not a waste, it's an investment. It's you can do more and make more money out of it.
Well, when you retire, you could make that a business.
Well, that's right, yes.
You could, so could I. I mean, we think about things like this. We're not there yet, but hey, one day.
But then you're not retired.
I know, that's funny. Retired?
When you stop doing what you're doing now, you can do that.
That's funny. Well, anyway, well, thanks for coming on, and
Yes.
we will see you folks next week on Tech Down Over. I think we have somebody next week. You remember, Harold? I think we do, but I'm not sure.
Let me check our schedule, and I'll let
So
everyone
we're checking
know.
the schedule right now. I thought we had somebody. Sarah's been getting
I'm
people
not
right
too
and left.
We don't have anyone
it's a
nailed
little
down
bit
for
late.
next week,
No.
but the week after we have Ramon back from
Oh, Ramon. Remember Ramon? He's coming
Yeah.
back the week after next.
from Lifestyles
Yeah.
Defined.
From Lifestyles Defined from 2 weeks. That would be great. Ramon was fun. So we've got him coming back. And then next week we have some possibilities, but nobody confirmed yet. So we'll see who wants to come on.
Okay.
Anyway, well, have a good one, everyone. And we will see you next week on Tech Down Over. Bye, Jeff.
Bye for now.
And that's a wrap.